On a quiet afternoon in early autumn, Emma, a young cashier at a small neighborhood grocery store called Greenfield Market, noticed something unusual through the glass entrance. A thin, muddy, stray dog was sitting just outside the door, perfectly still, as if afraid that even the smallest movement might make him invisible. His eyes were locked on the warm interior of the store, reflecting the bright shelves, filled with food he had likely never tasted in his life. There was a deep hunger in his gaze, not only for food, but for safety, for kindness, for something he could not name. Emma followed his stare and suddenly felt a sharp ache in her chest. She knew that look too well, the look of someone hoping without daring to expect. Moved by an impulse she could not ignore, Emma quietly opened the door and crouched down, gently calling the dog closer. At first he hesitated, his body tense and unsure, but something in her voice felt safe. Slowly, step by step, he crossed the threshold and entered the store, his paws trembling against the cold floor. Emma brought him a small container of food, and the dog ate with desperate urgency, as if the meal might vanish if he slowed down. When he finished, he lifted his head and looked at her, tail wagging weakly, eyes shining with gratitude. That moment changed both of them, though neither realized it yet. From that day on, the dog appeared every afternoon without fail, always during Emma's shift. He never barked, never begged, never caused trouble. When the store was busy, he waited quietly in the corner outside, sitting patiently as customers passed by. Only when the store grew quiet would he lift his head and peer through the glass again, his familiar, hopeful eyes searching for her. Emma began saving food that was close to its expiration date, but still perfectly edible. She would place it carefully in front of him, and the dog would wait politely until she nodded, as if he understood boundaries better than most humans. Each time he ate, his tail wagged uncontrollably, and Emma found herself smiling more than she had in months. As weeks passed, feeding him became part of her daily routine. On the rare days when he arrived late, Emma felt an uneasiness she couldn't explain. Winter soon crept in, bringing icy winds and gray skies. Watching the dog shiver outside the store filled her with worry, so she bought him a small blue jacket to keep him warm. The next day, however, the jacket was gone. The dog returned as usual, cold and shaking, but still waiting. Emma gently put the jacket on him again, but as snow began to fall and the nights grew harsher, she knew it wouldn't be enough. After many sleepless nights, Emma finally gathered the courage to ask her family if she could bring him home. To her relief, they agreed. That evening, she closed the store and called the dog to her side. He followed her cautiously, glancing back at the place that had once been his only shelter. But this time his eyes were filled with something new. Hope. From a lonely stray surviving on scraps, he became Max, a beloved member of a warm and caring home. This story gently reminds us that kindness does not need to be grand or loud to be powerful. Sometimes a simple meal, a moment of patience, or a warm place to rest can become an entire world for someone who has nothing. When we choose compassion, we may never fully realize how deeply Our small actions can change a life forever. Thank you so much for taking the time to read this story. If it touched your heart, please feel free to leave a comment below and share your thoughts or similar experiences. Your support and interaction mean a lot and inspire us to continue sharing more heartfelt stories.